Hey guys, this is Matthew Movies coming at you again with my latest in my series on my favorite movies of all time. So this time I'm coming at you with number 13, the unlucky number. So it's kind of fitting which movie is there. It's not a horror movie if that's what you're thinking. It's just a movie that's not a feel-good movie in the slightest. It's a documentary, the first documentary on this list, and if you haven't seen this movie and you do watch this movie, you are either a monster or made of stone if you do not tear up during this story. Like it is unbelievable what ends up happening in this documentary. So I'm going to give you some spoilers, but I'm not going to give you all the spoilers because I really feel like probably the majority of the people who might end up watching this video, even though it's kind of funny because when I think about it, these lesser known movies that I do reaction videos to usually end up getting like 6 views, so there's probably not going to be too many people who watch it, but I'm still going to enjoy talking about it because I just absolutely adore this movie because of the feels. Oh, the feels, so many feels. Anyways, if you do end up watching this and you haven't seen it, I'll give you enough spoilers that in my view might make you either A, say nope, not for me, never ever gonna watch that, or B, curious enough to watch it but won't ruin some of the major impact of the movie. So basically the story of this movie is it was made by a director named Kurt Kuhn. I think that's how you spell it. And anyways, he had a good friend growing up named Andrew Bagby, and Andrew was going in to be a doctor, and he's a type of guy that had just tons and tons of friends. Everybody who came across him seemed to like him. He just had a very magnetic personality from the footage that you see, but the one thing he didn't have a lot of was that many girlfriends. And so he met a woman when he was going in for med school, and this is the spoiler part, he gets killed by her, and that woman is when she kills him, becomes pregnant with his baby. So the documentarian, like I said, a good friend of the victim, decides to set about traveling all over the country and basically anywhere and everywhere he knows of the people that are close to his friend, and goes and he interviews them about their experiences with Andrew and how they felt about him, trying to tell stories, just basically trying to give an idea of who Andrew Bagby was. And the documentary is actually, most people call it Dear Zachary, but it's the actual long name of the title of the long title. The actual title is Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father. And that's because the whole intent of the documentary was to give this portrait of who Andrew Bagby was in order to give it to his son, who was born to the woman who killed him. And so you have this really complicated set of emotions, because simultaneously as you're finding out about this gentleman, and he's a human being. He wasn't perfect, and the documentary doesn't make it look like he was perfect, but it does make it look like he was a guy who you wanted to get to know, and he was a guy with a good heart, and he was a guy who was good to his friends and good to the people he cared about, and he had an open heart, and he was just a great guy. So you're finding out all this about him, and you're kind of falling for this guy. Like, not, if you're a straight male, you're not falling in love with the guy, but you're really, becoming emotionally invested in this guy. And meanwhile, he's no longer alive, and you're also getting a portrait of the heroes of the movie are his parents, and you're simultaneously getting a portrait of what they're going through, because their son is dead and they want to be involved in the life of his son, but in order to do that they have to deal with his murder, and just the emotional impact of what these two people go through in order to have a relationship with their grandchild. And is just so incredibly heart-wrenching. Like I said, this is not a feel-good movie by any means. There are parts of it that are feel-good. Like the parents are such inspiring people. Like there's I don't know that there's a movie that has a more admirable set of heroes, and you'll never. I've never heard of them before. I've seen footage of them in interviews and that kind of thing since, but they're not going to be long-standing characters, and they're not going to be characters that people talk about a whole lot because was an underseen movie. But if you see this movie, they will get to you. And that's the part. It may seem like a weird movie to be considered like one of your all-time favorites, but for me, what I look for in a movie is I don't just look for to have a great time. I mean, I love having a great time at the movies, just like anybody else. But what I really look for movies that are affecting, and I feel like movies at their best can make you see the world in a slightly different hue. It's like almost like putting a filter over your lens, and it may not last forever, and it may not always be there, but when you think about the movie, it puts some things into perspective for you. And if these two people were willing to do the things that they do in this movie in order to keep the memory of their son alive and to have a relationship with their grandkid, then anything that you or I are going through just pales in comparison. I mean, sure, maybe, or at least anything I've ever gone through, because I've never, I can't even fathom the amount of hurt that they must have felt at what happened to their son. And like I said, I'm not gonna. There are some incredible revelations in this movie, and I don't know how anybody could watch it without like tearing up at one point, but it is just such an amazing movie. So if you have seen the movie, please tell me what you thought of it without spoilers in the comments below. I really prefer that there weren't spoilers on the off chance that anybody watches this movie and decides to go and see it. If you are going to see it, or if you are actually making plans to see it, please let me know. I would love to get feedback from people who see it for the first time. I just think it's an extraordinary film. So please comment and subscribe. I really want some more subscribers. So have a nice day.